10-20 minutes between them, to be honest.
Half, yeah.
So at the end of last week's episode, I called that my captain would be any of the 3 Liverpool players in my team.
Yeah,
I wasn't sure which one. That did not play out well at all, did it? So no points for any Liverpool players.
I guess the only thing,
absolutely nothing.
The only silver lining potentially for FPL managers is that hopefully Klopp and the players have taken this as a bit of a wake-up call. Hopefully the invincible tag is that monkey off their backs. Now they can, go into the FA Cup game against Chelsea, get a result, be buoyed by that, go into the weekend's game against Bournemouth. And for FPL managers, if the players are hurting and they want it, it could be an absolute goal fest, in which case you want to kind of jump back onto your Liverpool players.
And the other thing to that, though, as well, because, if they were going for the record, because it must have been in the back of their mind that they were going for the record, right? And now that record's gone, do you think Klopp's going to turn his attention to the Champions League? Because thinking about, you've still got the Premier League in the bag.
They need to get a result again for Atletico.
Yep.
They need to turn
it around. And we're at home.
So are they going to start resting? Because they haven't rested players, have they, really, until this point? And this now could be the tipping point.
Yes and no, to be honest, because I think kind of whilst you'll want to remain in the competition as long as possible, at the same time, having that loss, and okay, everyone still says, okay, the league's wrapped up. Fortunately, I'm a pessimist, and until it's mathematically possible, I'll only celebrate
because of what's happened. The Gerrard slip, and it's all the years before, and it's
exactly.
You want to get in the bag.
I still think that he's got to prioritise the league, right? Yes, we still need technically 4 wins, unless obviously results go our way from a City perspective. No, I think kind of full focus still has to be on the league to wrap that up. Yes, I do think he'll start resting a few players purely just because I think we're starting to see now that players are a little fatigued. So I think naturally, his hand is a little bit forced in terms of not being able to play those players week in, week out. He's got to freshen it up somehow. Not a bad thing, to be honest. I think there's players on the bench that are actually kind of looking to play and make a point. So I think we'll see.
Just to top that off as well, it's like it then also reminds they're not invincible, but it also reminds you how well they've done, even just to get 18 games on the bounce. And even before that, I think they only lost once.
It was like 44.
It was the Man City game, wasn't it?
It was 44 games. Hadn't lost since like January the 3rd of 2019.
Yeah.
So I mean,
it's a commendable feat.
A great feat. It's awesome along the way. Obviously, we picked up trophies, but it means nothing. We won the one that counts, and that's what we just got to keep our attentions focused to.
So Jimmy Ferguson's not here this week. That means we can speak our true mind, our true feelings about VAR and about whether it saved Man United or not in the last minute. What's your take on that?
VAR is Howard Webb behind the screen in a Man United shirt.
The VAR call was interesting at the end of the game because I actually didn't see the ref or the linesman make up their decision on whether it was a goal or offside.
I don't think they were sure. I think
they weren't sure.
And
I don't know. Like, first of all, the ref pointed. He then went and spoke to the linesman, and I'm like, why are you even speaking to him if you're going to go to VAR? Right?
Yeah.
And
it was
then
all just a bit to buy time a little bit, right?
Yeah, it was. And then I felt hard done by Everton. If you look at it, yes, he was lying there, but he did not change where De Gea was going. De Gea was always going to the right. The deflection took it away from him. And actually, by the letter of the law, did he make a deliberate action to move away from the ball? Yes, but was it interfering with play? Not really.
He was sitting on the ground, wasn't he?
Yeah, he was sitting on the ground. He wasn't affecting the keeper's sight of the ball. It could have easily stand, and it's a stupid rule. No one knows where it is, and even with VAR, you can't get it right.
That's right. Yeah, it was unfortunate. Poor, the Everton fans, they played well, didn't they?
Oh, you saw what Ancelotti thought about it, right?
Yeah. he got sent off. I think the ref just didn't know what to do, so he's like, all right, I'm going to send him off. But
this is too funny. I mean,
we have actually had a rambling from the dugout come in. Maybe they will be our lucky caller in the next half of the show. So stay up for that.
Why did he get sent off?
Final game of the week: Spurs Wolves. Great result for Wolves, right? As if it's a game of up and downs.
That's right. Yeah.
Yeah. Go on, Wolves.
I mean, they clawed it back. I thought, to be honest, Tottenham went 1-0 up. Where is it? Bergwijn
again.
He's playing well. Wolves are on a good run.
I hate to see it. It's hating me. Doherty, he's doing well. He's doing it in the business again. He's a fantasy Premier League players love him. Yeah. I hate him because of what he did at him.
6.2 million, so he's still quite pricey. That's the only thing, right? But he's doing
a goal and an assist, right?
Yeah, he gets up the flank.
Picking up bonus points as well. So
because the other guy, Saïss, is it Saïss? Saiss? He's got a lot of points points lately as well, and he's been playing in the Wolves team. So both their wing backs are creating a lot of chances.
Yeah.
Jota, he looks to be another one who's sort of lighting up for the Premier League.
Great form at the moment. I mean, just kind of goal fest both in Europa and the Premier League as well, and he proved it again. I mean, it was a tap-in, to be fair, but nonetheless, goal's a goal, and then you got Jimenez, who's just
great finish, right? Great turn inside the box, and
great consistency.
It reminds you, Jimenez is still one of the best strikers in
You've
the
had him
Premier
in your team for a while, right?
Yeah,
he's been picking up points for you.
I mean, it's an interesting one for FPL managers. I mean, do you look to someone like him, to be honest with? You save a bit of money, and do you make that call if you haven't got him in your team already? Do you make that call?
Are you going to be
bringing him?
They've got some interesting, tasty, winnable fixtures coming up as well, which we will get to in the second part of the show.
We do.
So I think the only thing we've got to round off the first half is the one Klopp, one flop.
One Klopp, one flop. What is it?
I think this week we're going to have to give the Klopp to the captain.
Yes.
Yeah, before he gets here, before we feed his ego. A few of the boys here are actually going out to stay on his boat this weekend. So we'll be nice to him before that. Ooh, ooh. So looking forward to that. Captain, well done. 59 points. It's a good score this week, especially after your form recently. So fortunate you went for Neil. You went above him again, but good play.
There you go. Well played.
The flop this week, I think it would be far too easy and a bit unfair to give it to Liverpool. They're allowed a blip. Yes, they were shocking. Did not show up, but they've been so great all season.
Yeah.
I think we're going to have to give it again to Leicester. They're just nonchalant, absolutely nowhere. No points, no goals, nothing happening, no inspiration. Brendan Rodgers, what happened? So
I agree.
To be fair, Liverpool fans
just phasing away.
Yeah, they saw it coming. So did Celtic fans. They were like, you can go.
Are they still third in the league? They're still hanging out.
They are hanging out there. Yeah, they are.
It just shows you how bad the other teams are doing.
They're still 5 points ahead of Chelsea.
I know. It's madness.
They should secure Champions League football even after this round.
It's one of those poor seasons.
From a week that seemed pretty boring, low scoring, there was actually a lot of action, a lot of goals, a chance to differentiate yourself. It was pretty interesting,
especially from the teams down the bottom. It's going to be an interesting next few weeks.
That will give us something to think about for next week. We will be back after this short break. We're away to get Neil Van Dijk's getting a pint, Ricky's getting a cup of tea.
Yep.
Yeah.
With 2 tea bags.
two tea bags.
Perfect. Just
what everyone wants. And if you want to contact us in the meantime, you can get us on Twitter at
LeftBackFPL.
Way. Welcome back to part 2 of Left Back in the Changing Room. Oh, look who we've got there. You heard him, listeners. You heard him.
He's dropped his anchor.
Good evening.
It's good.
How are we all?
Captain!
It's great to hear from you, mate. It's been a long time since we've had you on.
It's been a while. It's 3 hours. Time different, Malarkey. It's kind of
you can
still jet lagged.
You can use that as an excuse if you want, but we all know that you've just been hanging your head in shame. MVD's been stepping up to the plate, overtaking you until this week.
Yeah.
59 points. How did you get there?
I took a hit, didn't I? And
a free hit.
Like, for a change, I kind of basically got some Wolves players in, and Doherty, he came up trump. And Jota as well.
That was a cheeky move with Doherty, because we've all been saying, that you're pretty much the first one to get him in your team out of the league this year, Captain. So, but it paid off.
Yeah, I kind of basically knew that you guys weren't going to pick him because he's obviously offended you somehow. And I thought I'd take advantage of that.
But great week though, Captain.
Every Liverpool squad didn't come up trumps, and I got Ferdinand in as well, and I think he got 10, and Doherty got 12, and Joe got 12. So I kind of moved me up the ranks a bit. Well, moved me up one anyway.
Fantastic.
Now I'm above MVD, which is always a bonus.
What's that?
Check out that ringtone.
Wow, brilliant.
Takes me back.
Who is that? Who's on the line?
Alright, brother. How you doing?
Nigel.
Too bad. Is that you, Nigel?
Yes, Nigel. Alright. How you doing?
Oh, you alright, mate? How's it going? Long time no see.
Where are you calling from today? Bermuda? Where is it?
Actually, it's Isle of Wight.
Isle of Wight.
Ahoy, matey. Yeah.
I'm on holiday. Nah,
What's your question for us, mate?
Well, I was thinking about this, and I was thinking it would be really great if I could get a chip where I could, like, I made a mistake or what, like, change a player around.
Like a hindsight chip kind of thing.
Yeah, like a hindsight chip. That's what I mean. Yeah, it's a big word like that. Yeah.
Fantastic, Nige. That is a great question.
A light-hearted question from Nige there. Should we get a hindsight chip? The idea being what? That it would allow you to, during the game week, make one substitute as the game week's in play.
Yeah, I think, this weekend gone is a classic example with Vardy, right? Because a lot of us banked on Vardy away against Norwich. He hasn't scored in a while, and we're all, the ones who have held on to him, such as myself, for like 7 or 8 weeks and just hoping that he'll come back into form. Then you find out, he's just withdrawn from the team, 10 minutes later, and, that would have been lovely to have a hindsight chip and swap him out. So maybe, once a year, maybe that could be a good chip to
that's a great chip. And I think also with certain Premier League teams as well, like if you've got a lot of Man City players in your team, that's probably one of the best chips you can have, because I mean you're always kind of dealt a blow with, you've got a Man City player and you think he's going to do the business and he doesn't even end up playing. So
is that not why you have your subs bench though, and that's why you have to manage what players are on your bench?
But sometimes you can't afford players who are going to get you points on the bench. So for example, if you're going to be able to make a hindsight pick and that player's going to get you maybe double digits, then it's worth it compared to your bench.
When you've got like 10-12 million tied up in one player, that's when it really kills you. And you've gone for Aguero instead of Aubameyang, and then Aubameyang starting the game. And
guys, you got a bit easier. There's no time machine in the Premier League. You don't see Jose Mourinho. Oh wait, I can just actually. I want to change my lineup. Let's replay this match. You know?
It's a good point.
You didn't see Klopp do that on Saturday. Oh, my subs came on and did well. Maybe if we just changed the team and replayed this match, it would end differently. No.
Yeah. What do you think then? You think that?
I think Terry's had one Corona too many. To be honest,
Nigel. Terry, we did not mean that about you, son. If you are listening. Nigel, what do you think about that then, mate?
Yeah, I just think it'd be really useful. It's we always have this problem of I like what you said about the Man City. In like the rotation and all that. It would help. Yeah, definitely. Yeah. Who do I write to? Who do I need to speak to? Who's going to sort it out?
Do you know how to work email, mate? Have you got one of those smartphones yet?
If you do want to email us, left in the change room at gmail.com, mate, and get in touch. We'll meet you down the Golden Line.
Lovely. I'll buy you London Pride or something like that.
Can't wait, mate.
Packet of Rothmans.
Perfect. Thank you, Nigel.
And some scampi fries. Cheers for calling, mate. Interesting question. That I don't know where we find these guys, to be honest. No wonder with this game week coming up, it looks to be a cracker. There's some big games. Every team playing again, so it's time to make those transfers in, get your City players back in. A lot to think about. And we start early on the Saturday. Thank God, no Friday this week. But early with Liverpool v Bournemouth.
Yeah, well, I mean, I've spoken about it earlier, and I do see this as a game where the Liverpool players are going to be hungry. We're at home. We're going to be hungry to prove our fans who have been well behind us that it was just a blip against Watford. Business as usual.
Back at Anfield as well.
Yeah,
right? So.
Exactly. So return to form for a lot of players. I think hopefully Klopp's given him the old kick up the arse. Bit of heavy metal and whatnot, and to be honest, you've got players like Mane and Salah who actually love playing against Bournemouth.
Yeah,
always kind of scored in fixtures. So to be honest, like either one of those in your team, to be fair,
recent results. MVP. What did they look like against Bournemouth at Anfield?
So I mean, we played them just before Christmas. Salah was on the score sheet that time. When we played them, when we played them kind of same fixture but last season, both Mane and Salah scored as well. So
interesting.
They love playing against Bournemouth, and I do see this as a Liverpool win. I think Bournemouth will take a lot from the Watford, how Watford played, and try and kind of instill that. But I think kind of at home with the crowd behind us will be a little bit too much for them. And you know,
MVD. Do you think they're going to play the full 11?
Yeah, I mean it's a good question, and the other lads posed this as well. And I think you are going to see a little bit of rotation. I think you're starting to see a little bit of lethargy in certain players. And to be honest, actually, especially with the front three, I think you need to mix it up a little bit.
Yeah.
So I think I think it's a good question. I think you're right, Captain. I think you will see a bit of a change.
And you said that Lallana, when he came on, looked good, and Minamoto as well, so you've got good options there to come off the bench as well, right?
Yeah, that's it. I mean, no one player has solidified the fact that Henderson's out and has cemented that position in his absence. So Chamberlain's played okay. Yeah, I think